Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our daily huddle. Jesse Macpherson coming at you here back in home in Phoenix. Had a pretty eventful week and a lot of amazing things going on. We had a great group of people in here to Phoenix, and I'm excited for us to be able to have an opportunity for more people to come in. But as of right now, all roads lead to boot camp. We are all heading out to Orlando, Florida. No, Orlando. I think it's Orlando. Yeah, it's Orlando. So Florida. and but just had a chance to I was in Boulder, Colorado this weekend, Sunday, and then was over in Central California on Monday. And one of the things that I found is, look, you got to be solution oriented. I had a filming for something on Tuesday morning up in Central California, pretty much smack in between San Francisco and Los Angeles along the coast there in a place called Paso Robles. So right above San Luis Obispo, where I actually went to high school. And interestingly enough, I had a flight issue. So I was flying from Denver and connecting through Phoenix, interestingly enough, to get there because it's a small regional airport. And the airport itself in Denver had a delay on their flight. So the delay on the flight from Denver means I would have missed my layover in Phoenix, which means there were no more flights to San Luis Obispo on Monday night for me to be there in time for filming on Tuesday morning. So what do? You could cry, so you could complain, you can get mad, you can kick and scream. And what's always interesting is, airports are one of those interesting places where you see people like, it seems like, etiquette kind of like completely goes out the window. I don't know if it's the stress of flying. I don't know if it's the thing that's happened, but like a good example, if a plane gets delayed 15 minutes, people lose their shit. Like it's insanity what happens. All right. Let alone a plane gets canceled. Look, and I get it. I've been on the other end of this where it's like there's something you need to be at, man. There's somewhere you need to be. And but it's always interesting seeing people absolutely take out like the frustration on the woman at the counter who has nothing to do with the issue that was created, nothing to do with the problem that was created, and or safety's out the window. They're like, I don't care if the plane doesn't work well, just take me out there, let's get this thing moving, right? But anyway, luckily enough, I look over to the other side of the terminal, figuring things out when I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I'm thinking about how I'm going to have to explain to these guys how I'm not going to make it to this filming that they put a lot of money, time, and investment into being at. And I look to the left and I go, okay, I think we can figure this out. So there's a flight to Los Angeles that goes out a little bit later. So I end up flying to Los Angeles, and then I rent a car and I drive 4.5 hours, and I get there at whatever midnight it is. I wake up and ready to go. But it just kind of reminded me of a situation where normally this would have been a big hurdle. But what I found is like, it's kind of, if there's a will, there's a way. And as cliche as that sounds, there definitely is so much truth to that. Now, am I saying that there is a perfect example to every challenge or situation that we're going to run into? Of course not. But what most people do as soon as the challenge hits is it's like, okay, frustration, anger, upset, sadness, depression, overwhelm. There's an immediate reaction instead of the response that is going, okay, now what? And it reminds me of the situation, that the card that my mom had on her desk, which is suffering is arguing with reality. I can argue with reality, the plane is late, and go, it's not fair. But then as my wife reminded me yesterday when she was talking about something, I was like, it's just not fair. And she was like, well, it's not meant to be. And I was like, well, that's a different perspective. Right. So, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's not fair. It's not fair. And it's like, well, is it really designed to be, or is it designed to have you challenge, stretch, and grow? And that kind of leads me into one of the things I wanted to talk about here this morning, which was, where do you get this resilient resourcefulness, this level of leadership, this level of dedication, this level of excitement, commitment towards whatever it is you're doing. And I look back on what it is that, kind of created this mentality that I have, because it wasn't like I was born with this. None of us are. It's something that we have to decide to create. And how do we create that? Through education association. So when I look back, I'm in the process of packing up my house, and I am putting stuff in storage, and I'm kind of nomading it because my house isn't available until I have it rented for a handful of months. So I am going to be I don't know where I'm going to be. We're going to be in our van. We're going to be traveling. We've got our 10-year anniversary trip here to Cancun. And I'm looking at my board, and it's like, okay, we go from Cancun into, we've got Father's Day, into going to this event in Puerto Rico, and then we're going to be doing an event in the Bahamas, and then we're heading over to Hawaii, and then we've got boot camp, and then we've got Tulum, and then we've got this Atlantis trip, and then we have our journey event, and then we've got our honeymoon, we think, because we're waiting for Bali to open. And then I'm looking at the calendar places, and it's like, okay, and then we have this trip to Greece for the company that is unplanned, but they're waiting for the dates, and then Phuket, and then Africa and Thailand, and I'm going to be traveling to Mexico and Colombia, and they want me to come on the tour in Europe, and I'm like, wow, this is kind of crazy. Like this is the life I get to live. But where did it start? And that's one of the things I want to talk to you guys about here today, because as I was packing up my stuff, I found this in my closet. And this in my closet is one of, not all of, but one of my boxes of notebooks. And these notebooks are like, I don't even know how to describe to you how much I love this box. So a lot of people have things that are sentimental in their house, whether it be, kind of tchotchke stuff or things that they bought on trips. And it was one of the things that I love to do, or a painting or a memory of something, or even photographs. And for me, I believe that this particular box is probably my most sentimental, or my most prized possessions, because this is the box that created Jesse Macpherson, and this is the box that built Jesse Macpherson, and these are some of oh my gosh, hold on. These are some of, and I wish I could pull them all out, but I'm not going to, because that's kind of obnoxious. But we'll put them down here so you guys can see a few of them. But when I started doing this business, I was sitting front row taking notes at these events, year after year after year after year after year. And what they would do is every time you would go to an event, you would get a name tag with your name on it. And so I remember going to all these meetings, and this is the back of one of my notebooks. And people would say, how do you go become successful inside of your business? Is you go to a lot of meetings, right? And, or how about more meetings, right? So, and all of these notebooks are just absolutely filled from front to back with notes from training. This was from 2003. Okay. So, and all the notes that I started taking from 2003 to writing out our compensation plan, to I wrote out who was on my team, and I wrote out every event that I went to. I wrote down who was on my team, and how 5, 10, 25, 35, and recognition, the 10 steps to getting to executive. David Stecky. Wow. So what are my notes from him? So, and Tracy Thomas, and rich people don't work for money, they work for time. These were things that I started learning so many years ago in recruiting, and 3 phone calls, and the success cycle, and never giving up. Chris Hughes, 350. Oh my gosh. Like, so this was just obviously one of the books, and there's so many, so I can't even going back into this, which is pretty crazy. So, but from my notebooks, so here's 2004 from our company convention in Oklahoma City. And I never missed an event, advanced product trainings that I was going to, learning from the best in the business. So, and then I was like, okay, who was the list, and creating lists. Oh my God, Leonard's list. his easiest and his best. I was helping him create his lists, right? So from dreams that dream goals and all that. But from all of these notebooks, if we were to I mean, I can't even, and this is just one of them. But inside of this box, it was kind of interesting. I found a couple of things that I thought were cool. This is my original list that I printed off in August 2002. So my original phone list, which had 108 people on it. So this is actually, it's so funny. I was trying to write down anybody. Mrs. P was my high school guidance counselor. I didn't even have her phone number. That's the phone number to the high school. So this is a 19-year-old kid who wrote down this. I put a star next to the people that inevitably signed up after the next year. And these were the only people from my original list that signed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them ended up signing up over the course of, however long I followed up with them and talked to them, which is kind of crazy. So, which is funny here because, like, if you look here, this was my grandparents, my uncle, my grandma, my cousin, and best friend. None of them joined. Not one. Even to this day, not one of them signed up in anything, which is crazy to me. So, oh, so sad. But in any event, but the one that's probably my most prized possession is this one. This is the one. And I know it just looks like one of those normal notebooks that you would buy down at the store, but this is the one that is so big because this is my first one. Yeah, these are my very first notes I ever took in network marketing. This was August 2002. And I go to my first major event. And my first note is talking about ideas and needing new ideas. And if you want new results and getting out of your comfort zone, and motion creates emotion, facts tell and stories sell. And then I learned about objections and playing tennis and no means not now. And you need to follow up. And I don't know. All I know is I don't know. All I know is and include a story. These are my very first notes. Then I started writing out, what recruiting was and the difference between warm market and cold market and different ways to build the business, right? I started learning about the scales of influence. I started learning about, how to reach up to people, right? So if you want to see your future, show me your friends. I was like, oh gosh, that's a new one, right? So I started learning about red apples and green apples and rotten apples. As kind of red apples are the people that are ready to go right away. Green apples are the ones that need more time. They're not ripe yet. They need to stay on the vine. And then rotten apples. And there's nothing that can be done about these people. So you could see this is one of those things where they're rotten. Right. I started learning about team etiquette and how to dress. I started learning, writing out the compensation plan and learning how to get promoted in the compensation plan. Right. So I started writing things that your past does not equal your future unless you live there. This is one of the first days that I started writing notes in my network marketing career. Then they started learning about a low maintenance team versus a high maintenance team. And what does it look like to be coachable, a problem solver, a leader, and showing up? This is a 19-year-old kid sitting in a room with 1,500 people where a lot of people are sitting there not taking notes. And then all of a sudden I said, the best trained team wins. And I started writing this stuff down. And then they said they want you to create a goals list of everything you want to do, have, own, create, for between now and the next 30 years. What do you want to have for the rest of your life? And this is the first time I wrote this stuff down. I started opening up my dream space. And I wanted financial freedom. I wanted a BMW, right? I wanted to live by the beach. And on my BMW, I wanted rims and a DVD, like DVD things in the back of the headset, So I'm a 19-year-old kid, don't judge me, I wanted a camcorder. You guys remember camcorders, right? So I wanted DVDs, every movie. I wanted because movies were like my thing. I wanted them. Remember when you used to buy like the DVDs on that subscription? What was it called? House of, so where you could like pay $1 and you got like 10 DVDs or something, or CDs. You guys remember those things back in the day? Palm. I wanted a Palm Pilot. You guys remember Palm Pilots, right? They were like a huge thing. So clothes and shoes, traveling all over the world. No, not specific clothes and shoes. I just wanted clothes and shoes because I couldn't afford clothes and shoes. I remember I wanted to get my first promotion. This would have been kind of like bronze in like 2 weeks. I wanted my second promotion in a month, my third promotion in 2 months, and my fourth promotion in 6 months. Executive director, that would have been about like ruby, I would say, in our compensation plan, maybe platinum. So And what's interesting is this: I hit this goal of getting my first promotion. I didn't hit this goal. It took me 13 months to actually hit this goal from the time that I wrote this. No, August 14, 15, 15 months. But here's what's amazing. If I never would have set this goal, it wouldn't have happened ever. It would have never happened. It was going to these events when I started learning about the difference between motivatables and self-motivated and the 7 steps to duplication. And I started drawing out the compensation plan. I started learning about family, occupation, recreation, motivation, building a bridge, right? All right. How to ask, started asking questions, how to do a presentation, what it takes to get to the next level of the compensation plan and the 4 phases of our business. And then all of a sudden, now I'm learning about objections, right? Not only am I learning about objections, but now I'm so excited. That was my first event. And then they had another event, and it was a month later, September 20th. And I'm back at my next event. And you can see now my notes are getting more serious. I'm getting a little bit more put together here, because now I'm like, this is it. This is my future. If I can learn this, if I adopt this, if I can build off of this. And this is where it started. Now I'm taking notes on both sides of the pages. Look at that. Making it happen on both sides. And red apples, green apples, I started learning again, and it was the same thing over. I started learning about the colors, reds, greens, blues, and yellows. Oh, this was the beginning of that. I started learning about what greens were: conservative, professional, dressed, not flashy, clean cut, well-groomed, right? Not a lot of emotion, right? Usually carry a briefcase or a portfolio, Bill Gates type of people, right? So then you had the blues, flashy, loud dressers, new hairdos, bright makeup, smiles a lot, outgoing, love to be flattered, love to be touched, crazy, life of the party. And the red, sharp dressed, right? Gold and platinum, clean cut, aggressive handshake, confident, all about the money, right? Status, challenger red. Started learning at yellows, very casual dress. They usually were more like silver, long hair, facial hair, very natural, organic, soft spoken, very friendly, right? These are things I started learning in my communication of how to communicate these different colors. I learned objections again, how to overcome these, right? So I started learning about the difference between players and spectators. And then I started I had a low maintenance and high maintenance, but notice how it's getting bigger. And then I started, they said, start creating, this was in September, create your Christmas list. How much money would you need to basically extra in your business to be able to have the best Christmas ever? And so this started happening. We started writing new goals and how do I get to new levels? And then I went to my next event and the next event and the next event. And guess what? It never stopped. I can't wait for boot camp. It's been 19 years. I'm so excited to sit in the front row and take notes and be a student, like a real student of this business, this profession, and today, I get a lot of congratulations for our recent rank advancement. And look, I hadn't had a rank advancement in a long period of time. I hadn't rank advanced for, I don't know, 7, 8 years. I don't know, something crazy. And I was like, well, and part of it is it's time to learn more. It's time to grow more. All right. It's not the comp plan's fault. Like the comp plan is the comp plan. Right. So it's not the products work. We know the products work. And I know that I got to get them on more people. I got to share them with more people. But more importantly is, do I work? Not only do I work, how well do I work, right? And am I getting better? And am I getting better consistently? And that's the kind of the message that I want to share with you guys here today. And I don't need to drag this out any longer than this. I think you guys got the point. But how serious are you taking your education? Now, for some of you, you're not looking for freedom income. Financial freedom isn't the goal here, Seacret. And that's okay. It's your business. You can have whatever goal that you want with your business. And we are excited to honor you on whatever journey that this is going to take you on. If $200 a month is your goal with Seacret and we're getting you there and you're having a good time and you're earning free products and you're winning some contests, and that's what this is for you, fantastic. Then that's what this is for. For me, I was looking for freedom. So for me, if that's the type of thing you're looking for inside of your business, it's time to get serious about your education. So like when people say, well, I don't know if boot camp, and I'm like, what? Like I can't even fathom the fact that somebody would say, I want to be very successful in this business, but I'm not going to show up to the most important events that this company puts on by the people that are teaching you everything that they know on how to get to where they got to. So now 2021 is a little different than 2020. There are a lot of things that have changed. There are a lot of things that have evolved. There are a lot of things that have changed, but there's a lot of things that haven't. There's a lot of the things that are exactly the same as they were 21 years ago. All right. People, learning about people, learning about leadership, learning about commitment, learning about accountability, learning about follow through, learning about follow ups, learning about prospecting, learning about how to overcome rejection, learning about mindset. None of that's changed. Now, maybe we have a different level of technology. Maybe our approaches are going to change slightly, right? Maybe the strategy is going to change slightly, but the end result is still the same. And the end result that we are looking to do here, a part of Seacret, is not to build the business, is to build you. Because when you grow, your business automatically grows. So that's why the late great Jim Rohn would always say, work harder on yourself than you do on your business. Because when you do, your business will always grow. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go do the activities. What we mean by working on yourself is getting better at doing it, getting better at doing it. So when you keep doing it, because I know some people that go deep dive into personal development and they're learn, but they don't apply anything to their business. And these people are some of the most dangerous people or depressed people. It's one of the two. Now, they're usually depressed because they think, I know all this stuff. Why aren't I doing it? And there's a big gap between knowing and doing. And that's one of the biggest gaps in human potential, number one. Or number two, they think they know, therefore they start teaching. And the people that have learned without doing that start teaching, oh, those people scare me. There's a lot of them out there, though. So those that have decided to become teachers of something that they have just learned but have never actually executed on. So show me your results. Show me what you've done. I want to know somebody that's been through the thick of it. I want to know somebody that's been through the ups and downs. I want to be led by somebody who hasn't had all sunshine and rainbows. I want to be led by someone who's been battle hardened. I want to be led by somebody who knows what it's like to gain momentum and lose momentum and gain momentum and lose momentum and gain momentum and lose momentum and been through everything and has a depth and a wisdom about it. That's the stuff that, you know how they're going to respond in good times. You know how they're going to respond in bad times. You know how they're going to respond because we're going to go through all of those seasons in life as a company, and you are in life and in your business. And as we go through those processes, I want you to have a box like this 10 years from now and 10 years from now. I want you to have a box like this in your house that you cherish, that it's like you want to show it off like it's your baby. This is it. These books to me, I think back on it, and there's always that adage. It was like, if your house was on fire and you could only run into your house and grab three things, right? So if I could run into my house and grab three things, guaranteed one of the things I would grab would be this box. Because now I'm thinking about it, and I'm getting scared that just having myself think about this thought is making me think I need to get these things, transposed into digital, because I can't lose these. Now, granted, everything that's here is inside of me, but these are the memories of the process and the journey that I've been on for 19 years, and it ain't over. I'm just getting warmed up, and we're just figuring this thing out, and we're excited for the next generation, but more importantly, to become more valuable. So that's your Wednesday huddle for you, is solution oriented. And I think the things that I'm doing today, and that for some people, how do you do that? This is how I did it. So show up, take notes, like your life depends on it, because it does. Your future you is praying that you take this stuff seriously. So I know it's easy when back in the day, if we wanted to learn from a top income earner, we had to be lucky enough to have them fly to our city. We had to be lucky enough to have them fly to our city. And then we would stand in lines and buy tickets, and we would wake up early, and I would wake up early because I wanted to get in the front row to get as close as I could to the stage. So there was no distraction, so I could be completely focused to get it to the front row. And usually the top money earners were in the front row, so I couldn't get to the front row, but I get to as close to the front row as they would let somebody that wasn't ranked and get there. And these were the things that I cherished, and we took it so seriously. And today, as much as I'm grateful for this technology, this is crazy. I didn't speak personally to somebody, have a personal conversation with somebody that was making more than 6 figures in my first company until I'd been in for almost 2.5 years. That was like the first time that I actually, once I was I was making 3 grand a month before those people were even accessible for me. And today, the accessibility that we have right now with information, sometimes we just say, Mazaffer's doing another training. You know, if this was 2002, I mean, it would have been, it's a totally different scenario. So please don't take for granted the accessibility because of the technology we have of this information. Because I can tell you, for those that are going to adapt this and take it seriously over the course of the next 5 years and 10 years from now, you're going to be so light years ahead. And then you're going to be doing trainings like this, and you're going to be showing these things off, and you're going to be telling people, oh my God. So, and they're going to be like, how did you do it, Valerie? How did you do it? And you're like, I just did the program. Okay. I just followed through. Like, I did what they said. Right. And that's me when people say, how did you do it? I did what they said. I showed up. I took notes. I never got out of line. I followed up. I followed through. I failed miserably. I messed up. But I kept showing up. They said, buy the book. Guess what I did? I bought the book and then I read it. What a novel concept, right? You know, some people say Think and Grow Rich, and they still haven't bought it and read the flipping book, you know? Ooh, I'm getting heated. It's, the thing for me is, it's easy for me to get frustrated at the 95% of the people who don't take this seriously. But even if you get a little bit out of it and that's it, I'm still excited for you and I'm happy for you. But for the 5% that go, this is it. I'm gonna really do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm really gonna do it. And here's what's great. The people that are really gonna do it are the ones that don't tell me they're gonna do it. Yeah. So anytime somebody comes to me like, I'm gonna for sure do it, I'm like, oh crap, you know, give them 2 months. But the ones that are like, because it's not an outward thing that you're doing for anyone else, it's an inward thing that you're doing for you. And when you have that inner conversation of going, yeah, I'm gonna do this and I'm doing this. I'm not doing it for an upline. I'm not doing it for a team member. I'm doing it for me. That's when things really change, and it becomes really personal. So take your personal education serious. I hope today's lesson was valuable for you, and we'll see you on a training in the near future. Take care. God bless. Bye for now.